gentlemen, welcome to another edition of the Wiles War Cry. I am your host, Stephen Wiles. Today, with me, as always, that co-host with the most, the guy who pays me to say that he does things right, Ulysses!
Damn it, you said it wrong again. You're supposed to name me as the greatest co-host of all time.
Oh, you know why? I'm a little thrown off today, because we have a special guest.
Yes, we do.
Have someone who is the most extreme wrestler in all of Panama. He's the Forger of Pain. He's Karcamo.
Hey, what's up, guys? I want to thank you for having me here in your show, and I'm pretty excited. Stephen's been trying to get me here, like he's been killing people and doing all sorts of crazy stuff.
A couple of rituals,
all the sacrifice of those unborn babies were. Hey,
let's keep my extra activities out of this, okay?
Okay, but it was worth it. So anyway, it was worth it. So I'm here, the Forger of Pain, Karcamo. So, thank you guys, and welcome to the show.
I want you to feel bad that Ulysses has this theory that I'm a vampire because I don't go out in the day. He doesn't understand it's because I'm an albino, right? So you just added to his vampire theory.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, it makes sense, Ulysses.
Yes, right.
Alright, what we want to do first is, I know I have a lot of listeners who probably might not be familiar with the work, the portfolio from the Forger of Pain. Could you tell us a little bit about who Karcamo is?
Oh, well, guys, I'll be honored to do that. Well, like my name says, I'm the Forger of Pain. Why? Because I create pain. I forge it. And yes, nobody better than me doing that, and that's been my career all this 9 years of pro wrestling. And, I'm obsessed with fire. I don't know, man. If it wasn't for this, I think I might be like a serial killer. So it's a catharsis to breathe fire. And, I love extreme stuff. Hardcore, if you will. And that's basically what the Forger of Pain is. Many people say that I paint my face, but that's not face paint. That is my actual face.
Okay. And I notice a lot of your pictures, you have this tongue thing going on. What is with that?
Well, I don't know. Since I was a kid, I was blessed by that awesome tongue. But, it looked weird because if you look at my pictures when I was a kid, the tongue was, bigger than me. Then I grew up, and then it all, evened out.
Is Gene Simmons somehow in your family tree? Because that tongue is pretty epic.
Thanks, Stephen, but I don't know if he's in my family tree, but I can say that he's one of my influences. I have Karcamo has been influenced by a lot of things.
Okay, cool. Alright, that sounds good. I think we have a general idea of who we're dealing with now. For those who might be interested in seeing the Forger of Pain in action, I'm going to put some links in the description below to a few of your brighter moments in wrestling. How did you get started, though? What was the inspiration for wrestling? What was the inspiration for Karcamo himself? What brought you to this love of fire and the tongue and wanting to get your face slammed into ladders?
Yeah, well, like I said, I saw a lot of different things. And I think my story is kind of like the same as every pro wrestler at the beginning. Because when I was a kid, I was fourth. In the first match, I was actually the first wrestling thing that I saw was Andre the Giant versus Hulk Hogan WrestleMania 3. For me, there were these superheroes, those Greek gods. I wanted to do that. And I don't know if this happens to you, Stephen or Ulysses. When you're a kid, sometimes you're like, I want to be a fireman, I want to be a police officer, or a doctor. But there's nothing wrong with those careers. What I'm trying to say is, when you grow up, then you change your mind. So what happened to me is that I never grew up. I said I wanted to be a pro wrestler. And, as years went by, I never changed. Well, I started to pursue my dream. So the other thing is that, and it has a lot to do with my dad. My dad, he was kind of crazy, and I think I'm just like him. Because, I was I know this was kind of prohibited in the United States and some other countries, but here in Panama, let's say the rules were different, in the 80s. I was since I was 3, my dad, he rented, horror movies. And the first experience that I had with a clown was it. Okay. So imagine that. The first experience that I had with a clown was it. So clowns were
Pennywise from Stephen King.
Pennywise. Yeah, that's right. Tim Curry, awesome guy. So the thing is that I don't know. Every time I saw a clown, I was scared. And it's kind of funny because I'm gonna quote freaking Batman. Batman's awesome, by the way. If you guys, did you see Batman Batman Begins?
Yeah, Batman Begins.
Yeah, Batman Begins. Yeah, that's right. Well, it kind of happened to me something, and actually, what happened to me was first, before the movie. So don't you think like, oh no, this guy did it because of the movie. So what happened is it's this. But I'm quoting the movie because something like that. When I was creating the character, I wanted to, I wanted my opponents to fear me. And I thought, I remember when I was a kid, I used to fear, clowns to death. So I'm like, oh, yeah, and I remember my inspiration says Pennywise and Sweet Tooth from Twisted Metal.
Oh, good one.
Yes. So I went that way. And like I said, a lot of inspirations. The other thing was, Gene Simmons, and all my pictures when I was a kid was always with the tongue out. And I started, combining those things. And those things, they started to become, the forger of pain. The other thing is that I kid you not, this is totally true. I was obsessed with fire when I was a kid, and I always used this. I was used to experiment with, burning stuff up. Well, thank God I didn't burn a house or anything like that.
Right. For those that may not know, there are a few matches, at least I've seen, where you use fire in your entrance. You breathe fire. And then also you came out one time with a burning cross that you breathed.
Yeah, that's right.
Some type of liquid or something on to cause the fire to jump. It was really good. I'm impressed you didn't burn the building down.
Yes, yeah, I'm impressed too that I didn't burn the building down. And also one of my signature extreme stuff that I use is that I use a flaming chair. I'll do later a compilation of the flaming chairs that I've used in wrestling. But anyway, yes, always something fire related. And it was going to be worse because I was Sweet Tooth influenced me so much that I was trying to get my head on fire on my entrance.
Now, are you self-taught with the fire, or did someone kind of give you some lessons on how to not hurt yourself?
Somebody gave me some lessons because I started, like I said, when I was a kid, and I was learning by myself, you could say that, but I was always burning myself. I remember at one time, I was in the toilet seat, and I put was that cream? I think it was shaving cream. And I always, when I read something and it said flammable, I'm like, oh my god, this is cool, this is gonna burn so freaking awesome. So I put the shaving cream inside the toilet bowl. Then I grabbed this, the match, and I put it, and I always looked inside to see how the thing burned. But I didn't know, flammable was, like a burst, yeah, right. And what it did is that I burned my eyebrows. Yes. And I kind of learned my lesson that I have to be more careful when something says flammable.
How did you not burn the house down or something?
I don't know, man.
Your parents must have been so afraid of you.
No, They never knew, even until now, that I used to do those kind of crazy stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really. I always did it. I was very good at hiding that stuff. But yeah, I would used to burn, paper, I don't know, some toys that I didn't want. Even some, really bad game cartridges. Just, experiment. Really, I'm telling you, man, yeah, thank God I'm not a pyromaniac because, Karcamo is my catharsis.
Right. I have to say, when I was a kid, I had two copies. I used to collect Ninja Turtles toys,
awesome.
Ninja Turtle toys, and I had two copies of the same Shredder because there were two different Shredder toys that you could get, and I had two of the same one by accident. So one of them, I put his face in the fire so that it would melt his face just a little bit, so he would be my battle damage Shredder.
Oh, so awesome!
So pre-fight and post-fight Shredder. Anyway, so now that we know how you have the face paint because Pennywise is great. And then you have the fire, the breathing the fire. Who taught you how to wrestle? How did you get into the business? What age did you start training? Give us some details on some of that.
Okay, well, Panama, as you know, is a small country, and wrestling here. Well, if I've told you the whole wrestling story here, it's going to be a while. But just to give you a summary, wrestling here was pretty big in the 80s and the beginning of the 90s. No, even since I think the 70s. Wrestling was huge here. like pro wrestlers were like rich people. I can tell you that from all the money that they came and buy here in Panama. Like literally, yeah, all the country went to a gym. It was always like 10,000, 20,000 people. And what happened is, like I said, just to give you a summary, what happened is that the wrestlers became greedy. They became jealous. They didn't want like any new wrestlers. They wanted everything to themselves. So what happened is that they all became old. Obviously, they became fat and stuff. And people were like, "Oh, why are we watching this?" People stopped going to the matches. So literally in Panama, we had like pro wrestling was kind of dead for almost 10 years, and there was like efforts to bring wrestling back. So I'm giving you this insight so you can understand what happened. Is I always wanted to be a pro wrestler since I started to looking for wrestling schools here in Panama when I was I think 16. I went and everybody like they shut the door, and one of the reasons is what I told you, right? It was pretty hard, like it's not that hard anymore. But it was pretty hard to get like new wrestlers because they wouldn't want you. And so the other thing is that I since I was 16 I tried and I tried and I tried, like they shut all the doors. Then at one point I was depressed and I left, like I'm not gonna go for this dream anymore. But then it came back to me because it was in my mind. I wanted to do it, and I dreamt to do that since I was a kid. So I started again. So anyway, there was this company. It's called LXN that they were starting to do matches again. They were the only company that was doing matches here in Panama and pretty regularly. So I went to the match as a fan. And always when I went to a match, I always stayed at the end to ask, like, hey, where can I learn to wrestle? So anyway, thank God these guys, they gave me a shot and they let me. And what I can tell you about I'm not sure how it was in the United States, but I can tell you this. In Panama, it was literally pretty hardcore and to learn how to wrestle. What they did, because they're not doing that anymore, is that they really beat you up like straight up.
Sure. And they strong armed.
Yes, and I remember when the first day I went with my best friend Iron Boy. We went and they literally, I remember that, and it still hurts just remembering that. Everything hurt. I couldn't breathe. My face was swollen. My back was swollen. My chest. My ribs, everything. And I remember when I woke up the next day, I wish I was dead. I went to the practice the next day, and I remember I got there a little late, and I told my best friend, like, I bet my ass that they think that we're not gonna go. And it was just like that. When I was getting to the gym, the teacher was getting out, like, oh, I thought you guys weren't coming. So anyway, to tell you keep a long story short, so yeah, the training was like that, like for a year. They started to, the more technical aspect. And we used to, like, our falls, we did it in the floor, on the concrete. We did like that flip. I don't remember. I'm sorry, I can't find the word in English. There's a fall where you do like a flip.
Oh yeah, like a frontward flip fall.
Yeah, something like that. And we used to do that on the concrete floor, man. I kid you not. Yes, it was brutal. It was brutally hard.
I shouldn't be surprised. These are the people who let you in your 4th ever batch into a ladder match. Which I'm going to post the link to it. There's a clip that everybody should see, but I will say, as you put in the video, if certain things bother you, it might not be for the squeamish. But okay, so these guys are having you train just the roughest, toughest possible way.
Yes, I remember even like my mouth was bleeding like on a daily basis, and I remember thank God I was with my best friend. I remember we used to help like each other morally because I remember one day he was like, I can't do this, and I'm like, no man, we're gonna do this. We can't do it. We're gonna do it. And then like a week later, it was me like, oh my God, I don't think we can do this anymore. I was like, no man, we're gonna go through this, and we did. And it's funny because. Yeah, we became so hardcore. But like you say, Stephen, I was ready, but I wasn't ready. Like my first match was hardcore. My second match was hardcore. The third match,
they didn't let you start easy at all. They didn't let you do a regular match.
They didn't. The third match, I think, was the only match that wasn't hardcore. It was like a purely technical match. And then the fourth match, the one you saw, was with the ladders. And obviously, it was a lot of things that, I wasn't ready. I mean, I was like mentally ready, but, I had to learn. Like I said, like I told you guys before we started the show, that's how I learned, literally, from that big ass bump, on my mouth, that I learned to use my hands to cover my face.
Right. So, how many people were in the group that you were training? Was it just you and your friend?
Yes, actually, we were the two newest pro wrestlers, the two newest guys that were training of that batch. Yeah, and you know what's funny, Stephen, sorry to interrupt, and Ulysses, check this out. What's funny is that we were the two last guys that were trained like that. Yes, I'm like, like whoopity doo, man. Yeah, my luck. We were the two last guys trained like that, and so but I can tell you that at some extent I don't regret it, because it helped me to lose fear. When I was in the ring, I done all sort of crazy stuff that now that I think I'm older, I'm like, why the hell did I do that?
I bet your body regrets it, I'm sure.
I'm sure it does.
The reason I was going to bring that up was, because I imagined the dropout rate for the people who want to be wrestlers there must be crazy when they were training like that. That's right.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because while I was there, I kid you not, there was like 12 people that came and went, and they never stayed. And at some point, just a little, I kind of agree with that training, but just a little bit, because I love pro wrestling, and obviously I wouldn't want like people to come and train and be in pro wrestling because of all the wrong reasons. I became a pro wrestler obviously because I love it. I love to entertain people. I mean, I don't care. I mean, now I kind of care about money. But I just wanted to, to share my passion with others. I wanted to entertain people. I never asked, I want to be famous. I never give a damn about those type of things. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's, I joked with you on Twitter that you should submit a video to Tough Enough, and it really wasn't a joke. I like your wrestling, but I didn't know if that was something you wanted to do. But now hearing this, man, that training that they put them through would be shit to you. You would just not give a fuck.
Yeah, but I do gotta say that, I mean, as I've done this for I've been doing this for 9 years, and I mean, my body's not the same now, because I stopped doing hardcore wrestling. I think it's 4 or 3 years ago, and I stopped doing it. I mean, now I do it, but let's say it's more PG. Okay. I'll use a share from now and then. And but not no more crazy. I don't know if you've seen. There's another video that Ulysses or Steven, if they're so kindly, they'll put a link. That that was my last hardcore match, and that was the biggest match here in Panama for the past 10 years. Like, people, to this day they still talk about that match. That was with my other best friend, Panama Jack Daniels, PJD, where he did a suplex from a basketball hoop. That was, I remember, really, I wasn't scared whatsoever, and he wasn't scared too.
Wait, for those like me who don't quite understand how basketball works, how high were you, and were you standing on the actual rim of the basketball goal hoop thing? What was going on here?
That's a crazy match. That was like a spot fetish. That match had everything, really. I look at it now, and I'm like, oh my god, what was that? Really, what were we thinking? Because really, it had light bulbs. We were brawling through the crowd. It had shares. It had flaming shares.
I think he Hadoukened you at one point. He hit you with a Hadouken.
That was great. To be precise, it wasn't a Hadouken. It was a Kamehameha.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse the hell out of me. You're right, though. Now that you say that, I'm like, I see it now. Okay. It looked an awful lot like a Hadouken. That might be a trademark infringement
there. I wouldn't know about that. So anyway, thing is that PJD, he wanted to, he put a share, and you can't see me, but I'm quoting, I'm quoting, because I definitely wasn't a table. It was an improvised table. So anyway, he's known because I think he was the first wrestler in Panama that did a spot from the basketball hoop. He did a moonsault over a bunch of guys. So people know that he was gonna do some crazy stuff like that. So he put me on a table and he went up the basketball hoop. And then, but I got up and I'm like, and he called me, he dared me like, come on here if you're tough stuff. Yeah, he was like, come on if you're tough shit. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going. So anyway, we went. I went there because he was already up there to do a moonsault, on top of me, whatever. So I went there and we started hitting each other. We were both at the basketball hoop, and he did his stupid Kamehameha because I don't know why, because he's been doing that for years, and nothing comes out.
It worked.
That was
I don't
fantastic.
think so. Man. Nothing comes out, and he's always surprised when nothing comes out. He's like, "Oh man, why didn't it work?"
I love this gimmick already. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, the thing is that and like I tell you, you'll see the link. Well, he's a pretty technical guy. I'm surprised he low blowed me to get to set up me for the suplex. And and like I tell you, I keep talking about that, I could talk to you about injuries, but I'm gonna say one there right now. The thing is that I felt, we both did on the table, but like my ass, fell on the concrete and my heels too. Yes, and that kind of fucked me up. Both my heels were cracked, and the thing is that, and really that could be like that was a match ender right there. But I don't know. I think I'm not gonna say like we're tough shit, but I guess we kind of are.
Well, you're both still wrestling after that, right?
Yes, we were still wrestling. Someday I'm gonna give you the contact so you can have PJD on the show.
All right.
So the thing is that we both after that we both got up and we still wrestled like for another 10 minutes. And really, it was crazy. And the other, oh my god, I could talk you about that match, the whole day. The other thing that happened is that, oh my god, I don't wrestle for that company anymore. But those guys are some incompetent sons of guns. Because, okay, this is what happened. We smash each other like, I don't know, what's like 6, 8 light bulbs. And obviously, that glass stays in the ring. So we went brawling. And I mean, use your thoughts. If we're not on the ring, meanwhile, you can like sweep the ring because, at some point we might return to the ring, you know what I mean? Yeah. And guess what? When I was walking and they helped me even, get up in the ring after the suplex, I saw the ring and I saw all the glass and I'm like, oh man, really? Like, seriously? Okay, this is gonna hurt, but oh well, what can I do? So we both got in the middle of the ring, and you can see us in the video that we're actually I have the link to the spot. And I have like the full match if you want to see the full match. So anyway, if you see each other in the ring, we're like talking, and really we're like okay, so, like, can you go on? He's like, yeah. And then we both like let's do this, and then we finished the match. I don't know how, but we did.
Very cool, very cool. That's a cool story, and I really hope that the listeners take time to watch the video, because I think after hearing you talk about it and then watching that video, they will get a full understanding of why my ass never became a professional wrestler. So
yeah, man.
Yeah, you're pretty smart, Stephen.
Do you have like a finisher, a signature that you use, something that's this Karcamo brand?
Yeah, well, let's keep talking about. I mentioned my influence, like the image of the Forger of Pain, but not really like my influence on wrestling. Well, I am a big fan of Mick Foley.
Ah, okay.
So that didn't help either. Well, I don't know if it's smart, but really that didn't help either, being a fan of Mick Foley.
I love Mick Foley.
Because, I was trained like that, but even before training like that, I knew I wanted to be a hardcore wrestler. And so, yes, Mick Foley is one of my influences.
I don't think you had a choice when you mentioned your training, but go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think I had a choice. But I'm going to say something funny, too. We were trained like that. Some others that were trained like that, when they went to wrestle, they went like, I don't know how they let them, but they went the technical route. And I mean, like I said, it's not a bad thing, but they practically told me, like, you're going to do hardcore wrestling. I'm like, okay. I mean, I like hardcore, but they wouldn't even give me like a choice. So that's what happened. So anyway, yes, my influence are like Mick Foley. I love The Undertaker, Terry Funk, and Tommy Dreamer.
Good choice.
So yeah, my finisher is Tombstone Pile Driver. I do like the Shining Boot, the Spear, and I have like a Stalling Suplex. I have like 4 moves that I do the most. I used to do a lot of, I used to jump a lot of the out of the ring, but now I don't do that like too often because of my injuries. But I used to do that a lot.
How do you do your Stalling Suplex? Do you like count when the guy's up there, or do you do anything to motivate the crowd to get interested in the
stall? Yeah, sometimes what I do is that I just stick out my tongue.
Just wave the tongue.
That works.
Around.
Yeah, just wave the tongue. I don't have to wave my hands. I can wave my tongue.
Do you traditionally? It seems like you are pretty well known in the wrestling circles in Panama. Maybe like a kind of a celebrity status there. Do you traditionally wrestle as a face or as a heel?
Well, I mean, I always wanted to be a heel. I think a heel, it's more fun. I mean,
Sure.
it's so much fun being a heel. You can make fun of the crowd. You can insult them. You can cheat. Cheating is always fun. Yes, there's a lot of things. I think you can do more stuff by being a heel. But I don't know what happened to me in my wrestling career. It was kind of weird because I started as a heel. Like literally a year went by, and suddenly people were chanting my name and were cheering for me, and I'm like, what the hell's going on here? So yes, another thing that happened is that people they cheered for me, and I used to tell them in Spanish, "Cállate, idiota." That means shut up, idiot. People there started to say it back, like "Cállate, idiota," but as if it was a cool thing, like "Cállate, idiota." Oh my god. And then I would like "Cállate, idiota." And then Panamanians started laughing, like, "Oh my god, he told me, shut up, idiot." And so it became a catchphrase.
That's interesting.
Yes, but I used it because I really wanted them to shut up because they were cheering for me. So I started to use that in my matches too. Like sometimes where the wrestlers were cutting a promo, and the first thing that I would say is "Cállate, idiota," and all a big pop, like people went nuts, like ah! And so anyway, as I was saying, I think that what people, at least I don't know, Panamanians like from Karcamo, was that I was always doing crazy stuff. At the moment, that was too regular in Panama that you saw something like that. People were accustomed to some other type of wrestlers, and the thing is that I would grab anything and hit you. Literally, I post. Okay, here's another plug-in if you don't mind. I post like wrestling videos every Wednesdays. It's called Wrestling Wednesdays. Wrestling Wednesdays. So anyway,
good stuff so far. Yeah,
you'll see those videos that I'm talking about because there's some of them that I haven't posted. But literally, I use and I'm a big gamer, so I've used like a PS3 to hit someone, like the fat one, like a Sega Genesis. What else I had? Like one time I smashed a Guitar Hero guitar on some other guy's face. I used the flaming chair.
Right.
Oh, there's other thing that it's at least in Panama, the only one that does that. I have a little bag that has red and white stripes, and people know the bag because when I take out the bag, it has broken glass on it, in it. So yeah, that's kind of the signature things that I do, and I think like people, I don't know, they went nuts, and they're like, I don't know what went on in their minds, but they were like, I'm gonna cheer for this guy. So the promoter, after a while, he's like, dude, you have to be a face. I'm like, no, man, I don't want to be a face. And he's like, yes, man, people love you, and even like to this point, I'm kind of a face, but I'm that face of kind of face that I try not to like high five people and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm still a soldier of pain.
Are you a Dean Ambrose face? Are you like the super crazy face that people aren't sure if he could turn at any time?
Yes, something like that. You could say that because Karcamo, he doesn't have any friends. I don't have any friends. Usually when I'm in a tag match, I'm like forced being in that tag match. And for the most, I'm always like arguing or fighting with my tag partner.
Is in Panama, how is the state of kayfabe? Are they still kind of into it as much as like Mexico, or is it a little more light there?
No, here is pretty heavy too. It's been kind of, and that's one of the things. That's one of the probably the third or second reason that it was so hard for new people to get into wrestling because all the old guys they take care of wrestling a lot and they didn't want to like expose the secrets and the techniques to everyone, and they were afraid that people went training and they were gonna go like, oh my god, this is like this is like that. And the other thing in Panama, sadly, like the fans, they don't have they let's say their mind is not that open. Like if they find something out, they're just gonna say like, oh my god, it's fake, and I don't want to watch it anymore. I don't want to go to the matches anymore. And it's stupid because it's still. I mean, look at me, look at all the things that I've been through, and it's still. I went to Florida. I think it was. I don't remember if it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. And I went to Florida to wrestle with in the promotion of Pablo Marquez, and we were just practicing, and I broke my ankle. It wasn't anything hardcore. It wasn't anything like oh my god, this technique is so strange and so weird, and nobody can pull it off. And so what I'm trying to say is that wrestling it's still dangerous. We're taking care of our wrestling partner, but still it's dangerous for each one of us. And that's the sad part from the audience here in Panama. They're still like oh, it's fake, and that's kind of stupid.
Now, all these injuries you're talking about, you must have like some John Cena level recoup times, because it seems like you have a bunch of injuries, but I know. It seems like you're wrestling all the time, too. How's your usual recovery time?
Yeah, and that's, I don't know, I think sometimes I really, like, I'm not even kidding, when I think to myself, like, I may be a mutant. Like,
you got that Weapon X
yes,
healing factor.
Because I think I have a small healing factor, not to those Wolverine degrees, but I have it because I've been doing this for 9 years and almost like never stopped wrestling. Right now, I mean, we are in a kind of a dry season here in Panama because there's a lot of things going on, and at least wrestling is not that big since last year. It's a little cold right now. But for the most part, when I was wrestling, the big hardcore days, I went I went 5 years straight without stopping. Jesus. And each match, really, you see all this crazy stuff. Let's talk about WWE or WWF. When they weren't PG. You saw all these crazy stuff the parties on table matches and Edge and Christian. And Mick Foley and The Undertaker, and you saw that on pay-per-views. But for us, every match was like a big pay-per-view. So it was really crazy. It was really hardcore. I still think to myself, I don't know how, after one match to the other, how I was wrestling again. And as you'll see in the video where I lost my teeth, next month I was wrestling. I was in the ring already. And yes, always it's been like that. I had a match, let's say, and I had a bunch of glass stuck on my chest and in my back. And next month I was wrestling again, hardcore, flaming chairs, flaming tables, the works. So I mean, right now I think the healing factor is a little less. I still have it, but as I grow older, I think the healing factor it's fading away.
You mentioned the other products. Of course, you have WWE, TNA, ROH, and New Japan. Recently, I've really been getting into Lucha Underground and talking about the progress over in the UK and stuff like that. What, if any, of these companies do you try to keep up with or anything like that?
Okay, I try to keep up with, and the keyword is try, with Lucha Underground. I've been watching a lot of NXT. Actually, I wasn't watching anything WWE related for a while until PJD, he told me about NXT, and that's freaking awesome. Just when you thought WWE, they started always recycling characters and stuff, and you thought you couldn't see anything new, then there's NXT. Really, their characters are awesome, and I like NXT. I think NXT right now it's the most cool thing WWE has going for it right now.
You definitely aren't wrong.
So yeah, basically NXT and Lucha Underground once in a while. And the other thing is that I love wrestling, but I haven't been able to keep up just because there's a lot of things going on in Panama. And if you guys are listening to this, yeah, I'm a pro wrestler, but I do all sorts of stuff. And as many athletes and as many artists that they have to sometimes keep like another job and their passion. But the cool thing is that actually I can't complain because my other job is my passion too.
We're going to get into that in just a second. Before we get off NXT, could you very quickly tell us, do you have a couple of favorites in NXT or in Lucha Underground that you're really kind of keeping your eye on? Somebody you might actually want to get in the ring with eventually?
Oh, well, yeah, I would love to. This Owen guy, he's awesome. And the other thing that I like about him is that, it's not the stereotypical, that's like the greatest part. It's not the stereotypical wrestler that, he's all like, ripped and he's all buffed.
Yeah. He looks like someone's dad. He really does.
Yes, but I like that because, like I said, it gives hope to all of the people that are out there that want to be wrestlers. If I know, I'm not saying he's a bad wrestler. He's an awesome wrestler, but that's the point. That's what the whole point. If you see him physically, he doesn't look like a wrestler. He looks like this regular guy that had a lot of Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, and let's just say that the guy beat John Cena on it was a clean match.
Right, he had a clean victory over Cena at the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's right. Match of the year.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's match of the year, but it's a contender
so
for
far.
sure. Yeah, so far it's a contender. Is there anyone else in NXT or Lucha Underground that you really kind of have your eye on that you think is just really good?
Well, Finn Balor, he's awesome too.
Right.
I love him. The other thing is that when I saw him the first time, I was like, oh man, now I'm fucked. Because, yes, I think you know why I say that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm so fucked right now. Because, well, obviously he has an awesome paint job. But at the moment, like WWE, they haven't have like face paint guys for a long time. So I'm always like, oh my god, he got a shot. Because I'm kind of different than what they have right now. Here comes Finn Balor, that he's fucking awesome. I'm not saying he's not. And he comes with this freaking awesome face paint. And when I saw him, I was like, oh, I guess I'm fucked. But anyway, apart from that,
I challenge him for the gimmick. Y'all's first feud should be over who gets to wear the face paint.
That would be awesome. That's a great idea, Stephen. I might ask you to be my manager, man. So the thing is that I love the entrance. The entrance is freaking awesome, freaking amazing. The other thing that, like I say, he's a pretty awesome wrestler. So, I was gonna tell you something. You talked about the Tough Enough video. Actually, I did one. The sad thing is that I took too freaking long to edit it. I know, but I did it. I was pretty interesting, and the other one of the rules is that they didn't want it to do they didn't want it to do the promo. You couldn't do the promo like in the gimmick, but I'm like fuck no, man. I'm doing
this is my thing, man. Yeah.
Yes. So that's one of the things that you were saying about me against Finn Balor because of the face paint.
Right.
And the other thing is that I want to die with my face paint. I don't care if they see my real face. I'm okay with this. We've been doing it for 9 years and all. I don't know. I just can't see myself not wrestling and not having my face paint.
I just assumed that was your real face, and I just assume your name's Karcamo, man. I've never heard any different. So
yeah, no, it is my name.
That's your parents. That's just what they decided to call you first. They knew your destiny.
Yeah, they knew my destiny definitely. My dad knew it. That's why he showed me all this horror flicks, and thank God he did.
All right, so we talked about you wrestling with Tommy Dreamer in a match against X-Pac, which are two people that you seem to like. Have you wrestled with anyone else that's kind of been a big influence on you, or somebody you were really happy to get to wrestle with, other than your friends like Panama Jack and all that?
Let's say. Well, I mean, I've worked with a lot of guys that I admire, but for the most part, it was so surreal to be in the ring. I don't know if you let me. Can I talk to you about that match?
Sure, go ahead.
So what happened is this: when I was in, I don't want to make like Tommy Jr. or X-Pac feel like really old, but I guess I have no choice. When I was in high school, they used to call me X-Pac.
Okay.
Because there was it was Attitude Era, DX was everywhere.
You both did the tongue thing, so I get that.
Yeah, and I always used to do the cross chop, and now when I was in high school, I told everyone like hey whatever, and I'm like suck it, and yeah, it was all even in my yearbook. Someday I think I'll snap a pic and I'll put it on my Facebook page. But you can see like they talk about me and they mention X-Pac. And well, like I said, Tommy Dreamer is one of my influences too, and the hardcore division. So I couldn't believe when I was in that ring with those two guys, because really, there was two guys that I admire, and I used to pretend I was X-Pac when I was in high school, and being there, really, I couldn't ask for more. It was so surreal. I mean, it got my ass kicked, but I was happy. So yeah, that was. I mean, I would love to be like in a hardcore match, maybe against Tommy Dreamer. But still, that combination of those two guys in that very ring, that was, like I said, I can't complain, and I appreciate that, and I still value that moment to this very day.
That's a very cool moment. And, I hope that maybe the listeners will take a moment to watch that match. Is there anyone that you have be like a dream match? Anyone who's wrestling currently that you really would just love the opportunity, other than people you've already wrestled, that you would just love the opportunity to maybe go a few rounds with?
Well, and I mean, just to say that, like a dream match and not being realistic at all, or I don't know, maybe it could happen. I would love to be in a match with Mick Foley.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to be in a match with Mick Foley, and also there's this guy in Panama. He was like he's still a legend here. He was pretty big in the 70s, the 80s, beginning of the 90s, and he obviously retired and he dropped out. But the guy, if you see him, he still looks strong. His name is Sandokan. I would love to be in the ring with that guy. He's like the Panamanian legend here in Panama. So, but yeah, like Mick Foley and Sandokan, that would be cool from Panama and the United States.
I know Steven knows this, but wrestling kind of runs in my family as well, because I have two uncles and a cousin that were luchadores in Mexico.
Oh, awesome.
And my uncle used to tell me a story that he loved, because he picked up wrestling around the age that I am right now. He picked it up at 22, and he instantly fell in love. And he said 6 months into training, he felt like he was hot shit. And then he got into a ring with, I can't believe, like, I forgot the name of the wrestler he got into the ring. But he got into a match, and he had, in his word, an absolute abomination of a match. And that's when he woke up and go like, I don't know jack. So he humbled himself. Have you ever had a moment like that?
Well, yes and no. What happened is that, thank God, and I have to thank my dad too. I've always been humble all my life. And, I remember Stephen asked me if I was, like, kind of a big thing here in Panama, and I don't know, I got sidetracked. But actually, in Panama, yes, you can say I'm a big deal here. I'm, like, the #1 pro wrestler here. Like, everybody knows Karcamo. Not the other guy. Thank God for that. And, the thing is, I've been here, and just to tell you a quick recap, I've been doing here, like, everything that is not even wrestling related, like, with the character. And there's like this franchise called like Singing for a Dream. It's mostly like Latin American franchise, Cantando por un Sueño, where you sing and like celebrities. They help like people out with their dreams. For the most part, it's always like sick people that need like an operation or something like that. So anyway, I was there. I couldn't sing anything, and I kind of sucked. But anyway, I was kind of a big deal here. And I've always been on national TV and like magazines and stuff. But anyway, that never made me like I'm a big deal, and I've always been humble about it. But like in wrestling, I got like, let's say I opened my eyes when I went to the United States, and I went to train with Pablo Marquez. and he's trained with a lot of guys, and I was able to be training too with Stevie Richards.
Oh,
and,
okay, neat.
Yes, and I realized there that, you know what, I don't know jack shit when I went to. Yes, really. I mean, like, I don't want to like take appreciation away from other wrestlers, but really, I mean, you have to be strong, like to withstand pain and everything. But when I was in the United States and I was learning, I was like, you know, man, anybody can do that. I'm not anybody can do like the technical aspects, and I was impressed. I had two experiences like that. One was there, the other was in Peru. I had the honor to be in the same program with Kenta.
Oh, okay, neat.
Yes, with Marufuji. I was super crazy. Who's the other guy? Oh my god. Ricky Marvin, that's another Mexican guy. You know, those guys were gods of wrestling. And I was like, really? And we trained with those guys. And like basic stuff. Like really pretty basic stuff. And those two times I realized, like, really, I don't know anything. I don't know how I've been wrestling all my life. Like I said, I've been always been humble, but I was like re-humble when I trained with those guys.
It kind of reinforced that, is what you're saying.
Yes, and yes, that's what I'm saying. And even to this day, I really, when I get to a ring to practice with wrestlers, I do my best not to do like a curriculum, like oh, I've done this, I've done that. Like I go there, like if I don't know nothing, I don't even mention I was in the ring with X-Pac. I don't mention that I was, you know, that Stevie Richards, you know, he taught me a couple of things, or Kenta. I rather like, you know, like, hey, get in the ring, Karcamo. Like, what do you know? Like, I don't know anything, man. So I rather go with that attitude. Because what sometimes what happens is that, let's say that you're talking about your career, but not in a I'm a big shit thing, like just to get to know each other. But what happens is that sometimes they misunderstand that, and they say, "Oh, you've been in the ring with X-Pac, and you know this guy. Let's see what can you do." And you know they want to like do evil things to you.
Now, real quick, you were in the ring with Kenta, who is known in WWE now as Hideo Itami. Did he kick you?
No, he didn't. I wanted to be kicked by him.
I know. I have heard that he has some of the strongest kicks right now. Just some of the stiffest kicks in professional wrestling right now.
I'm gonna tell you guys a little something about that. There's a thing that makes me different from all my fellow wrestlers and friends. Is that, and like I said, it's not that I know a lot. Actually, no, I have so much to learn. I have so many things to learn, but it's really hard for me to get intimidated. What I can do is that I can get intimidated, you know, because, let's say, because of your knowledge, because I admire you too much. But, and it's, you know, it's funny because, you know, I'm the forger of pain, but I've always been like that. Like, really, I'm not afraid of you know, I'm not afraid of like strong hits. That's what I'm trying to say. And I remember that day, everybody's like, "Oh my God, Kenta's kick," and always, you know, always being humble and you know, keep it to myself. But I was like, if Kenta kicks me, like, welcome, and you know, and I'm not saying it's not gonna hurt, but to set a good example, I did a video. You know, my dad passed away a little over a year ago. Well, actually, a year and like a month ago. And I wanted to do a video, you know, like, this wasn't a sad video, just a video like a tribute to my dad, and it talked about many experiences that I had with my dad. So the thing is that I had this match where I got my ass kicked by like straight up, like really hard hits. And it wasn't the first time, but sometimes, and I've been backstage. I'm not saying like you can't complain, but sometimes, you know, sometimes they're like, dude, you hit me really hard, and you know, they're like, but sometimes they even fight in the backstage, like, what was that for, and stuff like that. So I got my ass kicked, like I said, straight up, really hard, you know, bleeding, like, and the thing is that, you know, backstage I was like, you know, I didn't say a word, never complained, and I'm not even complaining now. I'm just, you know, sharing the story with you. So in few words, it's like yes, Kenta has stronger kicks. And, you know, what I'm trying to say is that I can take it, and I'll take it any other day. Any day of the week, I'll take the kick.
Okay. Good to know. Ulysses, did you feel like your question was sufficiently answered there?
It was more than enough.
All right. And I'm glad to hear that you are staying humble. You do a lot of other work. We've talked a lot about your wrestling and stuff like that, and you said you work in one of your other passions, which is media, and you mentioned working with singing and everything. And on top of all that, you're also working with Pro Wrestling Titan right now, correct?
Yes, that's right. That's the federation that I'm in. I've been there for 1 year now, a little over a year. That federation it's focusing that. It's a little more PG. It's entertainment for all the family. Everybody can go. You won't see like blood and stuff like that. I'm the only hardcore guy in the division, and like I said earlier, I'm like the most hardcore you see is like like shares and stuff like that. I still do I always do you will get the Karcamo show. You will get the fire entrance. You will get all that.
Okay, good. Now, my question is, when do you find time to sleep amongst doing all this?
Yes, well, I barely sleep. That is, I'm always, I don't know, who was I talking the other day? Oh, I don't remember. I was talking to somebody on Skype. It was like, oh, well, I see you're not sleeping. I'm like, nope. So, yes, there's a lot of things going on here in Panama. I'm getting ready also this year, like I said, to get back on my international career. Well, I don't know if you want to get into that, Stephen, right now.
Yeah.
All the other things that I do.
I actually do want to talk about where you see yourself going, and also then I want to talk a little bit about your gaming side. But first, tell us about the international tour that might be coming up for all the Carcamaniacs.
Well, I'm gonna return to Florida because I was starting to get pretty big in Florida. Thanks to Paulo Marquez, he has a federation. It's Coastal Championship Wrestling. It's CCW. So yes, I was starting to get pretty big there. To return because of my dad. My dad was getting sick, but I'm planning to go over to Coastal Championship Wrestling. The cool thing is that Pablo, he has a lot of good connections. Like the other day was Blue Demon Junior was there training their students. Yes. Well, I guess Stevie Richards, he goes once in a while. He's pretty connected, really, and it's awesome. I love the group. He has a really clean group. All the guys are humble. They help each other. I'm gonna upload those videos too. Like I said, every wrestling Wednesdays, I'm gonna upload like current videos, old videos of the things that I'm doing. All wrestling related. But that's it might be on November that I'm gonna return to Florida. So stay tuned. I'm gonna be posting. If you guys are listening and in the Florida area, I'll be posting everything on Twitter, Facebook, my webpage, so you can see the Forger of Pain live.
Right, and other than it being New Comic Book Day, that is my new favorite part of Wednesdays, is seeing your wrestling video.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right. Tell us a little bit. Ulysses and I we're gamers. We're big into playing some games whenever I can get Ulysses to not play the silly basketball game. What exactly baseball, sorry. What exactly is it you do with your channel? You have a gaming channel, you do several different things. I have recently enjoyed watching you die a lot at Ninja Gaiden. What is it exactly that you do on Karcamo Gaming?
Well, yes, I love gaming since I love wrestling too. And I've never stopped gaming. Like the first thing that my dad gave me was an Atari 2600, and I've had them all. I went more with PlayStation, but still. So to get your question answered, well, in Karcamo Gaming, retro's my stuff. I love a lot of retro gaming. I'm doing Let's Plays. There's a lot of things going on right now with the gaming aspect about myself. I've been doing unboxings. I want to tell you guys a little something about that too. The thing is that it's weird. I love gaming, but as a video format, I always hated unboxings. I don't know. Sometimes I would see an unboxing just to. I'm a collector. I'm a video game collector too. So sometimes I would see an unboxing just to see, what does the thing have. But the thing is that, I just skip like, okay, it has this. I skipped it again, and it has this. And when I wanted to start my gaming channel, like, people like unboxings and stuff like that. And I wanted to do it, But I have a saying, like first, and don't get me wrong, guys, and I don't want to sound like egotistical, but I have to please myself first. That's what she said. I have to be satisfied with my work. So when I thought of doing unboxing, I was like, what would I like to see in an unboxing that's why I don't like them.
Right.
So
okay.
so that's, and I started to do it, and when I did it, I was satisfied with the things that I was doing. So if I think, that's the way that I think. If I think that I'm satisfied, that other people would be, satisfied too. And that's what made me different. So anyway, in a few words, I know I digress a lot. My unboxing, for the most part, I always look for a place that has something to do with the game, kind of a themed unboxing, if you will.
Your Mortal Kombat review, you actually did the unboxing in a graveyard.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm pretty sure you were trespassing.
Yes, I was totally trespassing, I can tell you that. Yes, I was totally trespassing. I just gave, the security guards, $20 each. And yes. And it was, that was, yeah, I know. If you see, if you watch closely, that was a production. It was a whole production. It was a
good video. That was a really good video.
Yeah, thanks, man. I had lights there and stuff like that, and well, like I said, I did it like oh my god, I just want to impress people. No, I just did it to I did it for myself.
When you work with media, you were telling me you kind of work with television, so you obviously have some experience dealing with some of those aspects.
Yes, that's actually my job. That's my career. I own a small TV production company. Yes, I have the equipment. I have the cameras. I have the lights.
Must be nice.
Yes, I have the audio equipment, and it's obvious that to some point of your life you will mix all of the things you love together, and that's practically what Karcamo Gaming is. I love producing. For TV, internet, film. I'm using that. I love wrestling. I love video games. I'm a big horror fan. The Karcamo Gaming, it's everything that I love in a nutshell. The other thing that you guys, I'm going to give you a heads up of what's coming to the channel. It's actually the thing that I love the most about gaming. I adore imports. I've always have a love for imports, and I want to go into import reviews. The thing is that
you and Jimmy Hoffa both, yeah.
Yes, and also my friend Jim Kichoryuken. We talk a lot, the three of us. That's our passion. So anyway, I've always meaning to get into import reviews. I have a shit ton of games, for the Famicom, Super Famicom, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, even PlayStation 4 now. But the thing is that I'm a collector. I'm doing unboxing, like I said. But they are popping out, collector's edition are popping out, so fast that I've been trying to keep up and I haven't, been able to do the reviews. Because reviews are, a little more complicated than the unboxing. The unboxing, for the most part, I don't write a script. It's always, to get the legit first impression of opening the box. For example, I have here The Witcher 3 Collector's Edition, and I've been dying to open that, and I haven't opened it.
You're waiting for the unboxing. Okay.
Yes, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna film that tomorrow.
You do loot crate videos and stuff like that as well, and you started talking about paying off those guards at the graveyard, and it made me think your loot crate video for the Avengers box was in Age of Ultron. You were in the theater.
Yes.
How much did you have to pay them to let you film while the actual movie was going on? Or are the laws different in Panama and that's not as big of a deal?
Yeah, something, I'm getting this question a lot, like Karcamo, what do you do in Panama that you're being able to, you get away with all that, and people will say, you can get away with murder. And to some point, it is true. What I am using here in Panama, I'm in my country for starters, and second is that I'm using, let's say, the Karcamo fame to do some sort of stuff, to my advantage. Right. I'm to be honest, I never taken advantage of that. I'm you know what? I might as well do it. Why the hell not? So in the movies, I talk to the manager, and for the most part, not every single person in Panama knows who I am, but for the most part, they know who I am. So I talk to the manager, hey, I want to do this and that, And I just said like I'm not gonna like I'm just gonna use your popcorn and little logo you can see there. And he's like, yeah, go nuts, Karcamo, be my guest.
You know how to play the game. Good job.
Yes, that's right. I've been in. Like I said, I have a small TV production company, but I've been working in marketing and publicity for TV for 15 years. So yes, I know how to sell myself.
Now you're also going to be going to E3. What are you looking forward to? Are there any games coming out you're really excited about?
Yes, I'm pretty excited about E3. I've been to E3. This is going to be my third year, but the difference now is like you see that I opened my gaming channel like just a few months ago. Like how have I been doing this? Well, in Panama, I own a gaming show, but it doesn't have anything to do with Karcamo. But the thing is that in Panama, we are such a small country that it's hard for me as a reviewer. Like if the game has something bad, I mean you can't say it because you probably lose that client. Yes, so I have that show is called Generación Birria. That's in English it would be like gaming generation. So, but Karcamo, for the most part I tried not to be in that show because in Panama, like the gaming community knows that I'm pretty honest, and it's not like the guys in Generación Birria they lie. They just don't say the bad things. They just say the good things. And the thing is that I wanted to do Karcamo gaming like for so long because I wanted to be myself, and I wanted, like, my goal with Karcamo gaming, it was almost the same goal as wrestling. I just want to do it because I love it, and I don't care if I don't make money out of it. So that's why, and if you see my unboxing, like the Borderlands one, the Mortal Kombat one, you see that I will mention stuff that I don't like. For example, in the Mortal Kombat, the Corpse Collectors, I didn't like the statue. So that's why I started to do Karcamo gaming, and I can go all out. So I was saying, returning to E3, I've been to E3 as Generación Birria for the past 2 years. This is the first year that I'm going as Karcamo gaming. So expect like different content. And the other thing is that I'm pretty realistic, Ulysses, Stephen. I'm pretty realistic. I know I can't compete. For example, let's say, and there are other people that I admire too, but I can't compete like, let's say, with Angry Joe, Pro Jared. These guys they've been doing this for years, and they get like the exclusive interviews. So what will you see? It's gonna be different with Karcamo gaming. What I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna do different stuff. I'm gonna do fun stuff. I'll get you like coverage too. But for example, I still have to think of a name, but for now it's wrestling with celebrities. I'm gonna go with a referee, and every time I see an internet celebrity, I'm gonna kick his ass.
I saw you did some video with Angry Joe because you guys were on the Mortal Kombat background.
Oh great. Yeah, that's right. Thanks. Yeah, Angry Joe, he's pretty cool, and I met a lot of people too. I met Pro Jared. I met the guys, from Screw Attack. I met Shad.
Nice.
I met Nervous Nick and Ben. I also met the guys from Smosh. Last year, I met Gerard, the completionist. And really, it's kind of weird because I'm 32, soon gonna be 33. But when I see these guys, I'm like a little girl. I become a fan.
Right.
Because that's the guys that you admire, and they're awesome too. It was pretty hard for me to stay in a cool position every time. Like when I met Kenta, when I met X-Pac, when I met Super Crazy. I was like, yeah, I'm Karcamo, nice meeting you. But on the inside, I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe it's them.
Who's your dream YouTube collab with? Who would you really like if you could pick almost anyone to do some type of YouTube Let's Play with or video?
Well, I mean, I'm sure that like this would be the answer of many YouTubers. Like for me, it would be awesome to do a collab with James Rolfe.
Sure.
Perfect.
And
that's the right answer.
Yes, it would be my dream goal would be to do a collab with him. I love Pat the NES Punk. I met him, and not in the best way. Let's say that. That was actually the first video that I did in my channel. Was a tribute to Jew Wario. I was a big fan of Jew Wario, and it was pretty hard for me when he passed away because I was, well, I don't know if you want to get into that, but I was, last year it was like the worst year of my life. I lost my dad, and as a grown up, I was trying to, be mentally prepared for that because I knew it was going to happen.
Right.
But the thing is that it happened, and it hit me really hard. I didn't know it was going to hit me that hard, even though I knew like a couple of years that it was going to happen sooner or later because he was pretty sick. And so anyway, Drew Wario, I think Wario passed away first. But I used to watch his videos. I felt like, it helped me. And I know this happens to a lot of people because I don't remember, but I got a comment on a video that I did. I have to look for it. And somebody was like I was sad and I saw your video and I feel better. Thanks, Karcamo. And those are the things that, that helped me, to keep up wrestling, to keep up doing videos. Because now in wrestling, I've got like comments like that a heck of a lot more. And that's the first thing that I wanted when I started wrestling. But I think I'm getting sidetracked. Anyway, it's coming a collab with Jimmy Hoppa. We've been planning this collab since last year. I'm just going to tell you it's going to be Sailor Moon related. It's an import game.
Interesting.
Yes, it's going to be awesome. I'm going to have featuring a couple of Sailor Scouts, so stay tuned for that. That's coming.
All right.
Yeah, actually, Jimmy's ready. He's just waiting for me. He's just waiting for the busy pro wrestler hair. But Jimmy's ready, and that's coming. I think. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that are coming from Karcamo Gaming.
Real quick, just for the audience, can you give us just a couple of your favorite games, like things that you can play any time of day, night, whenever you're happy, sad, whatever. What are some games that just really hit that spot for you?
I have a lot of games that I can tell you about. For example, like my all-time favorite game is Suikoden from Konami from the PlayStation 1.
Oh, okay.
It's an
I
RPG.
played 2 and 3. I've never played 1.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, you have to, if you play 2, you have to play 1 because, the stories are connected.
Right.
And you see a lot of returning characters from Suikoden 1 and number 2. But yes, I love Suikoden 1 and 2. Those are my favorite from the series. I finished those games, both of them, like 10 times. And it's a JRPG for those that never played it. It comes highly recommended. Trust me, you'll love them. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I finished that game like 20 times. Like every year, I think I finish that game.
That's a good
love
one.
that. Yeah, I love that game. You never get tired of that. There's this strategy game. I think it's an RTS. It's called Vandal Hearts. It's funny because I'm mentioning 3 games from Konami, and Konami's like sucking right now. Well, I love Resident Evil. Like my favorite Resident Evil is Resident Evil 1, really the original.
I know you and I had a very long discussion about Silent Hill and Resident Evil, so I was gonna.
Yes, and yeah, now you talk about Silent Hill. Now my favorite survival horror franchise is Silent Hill. But yes, I love, and the one that I love playing like over and over again, it's Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3. Resident Evil, for the most part, I've played Resident Evil 1, like all the revisions. I played like Resident Evil 1, Resident Evil 1 DualShock, the Resident Evil from the GameCube, the remake, the remastered remake from the remake for the PlayStation 3 and 4.
Right, yeah.
Resident Evil 2, I love Resident Evil 2. I don't know why Capcom is taking so long to remake that freaking game. Also, Final Fantasy 7 for the NES. I played Contra like 50 times. Yes, Contra, Super Mario 3, love that game. Super Mario World.
You have a lot of favorites, and that's good. And it's kind of funny because almost everything you mentioned, except maybe I didn't get as into a lot of JRPGs, but almost everything that you really mentioned is stuff that I agree with you 100%. It's stuff I could play anytime.
Quick question. You're a pro wrestler. You're a lover of video games. So quick and easy question. What's your favorite wrestling game?
My favorite wrestling game will have to be WCW Revenge for the Nintendo 64.
Good answer.
That's a fantastic answer.
Yes.
That's a good answer.
My second favorite would be is another game that I don't know if you can call it wrestling. It's more like a fighting game, but I love WWF WrestleMania, the arcade one.
That's not bad. I've played that. That's good.
Yeah, I don't know. For the most part, I mean, like when gaming, it's like sports related. I'd rather be like sports arcade-ish, to do stuff that you can't do in real life than to be simulation games. Always when I play if I play like soccer games, I play like Captain Tsubasa, or there's this Japanese one that's pretty crazy. On the Wii, it's called, I think, Inazuna 11. It's pretty crazy, man. Like, if you like take a shot at the goalkeeper would like do some sort of magic, and he would turn into even worse than Goro. He would be like with 6 arms and stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Interesting.
Check it out.
All right, well, we want to go ahead and wrap things up here. I'm going to be putting a ton of links in the description, not just to Karcamo's matches, but to his YouTube channel, and maybe a few extra things you might want to look through down there. But if anyone just really wants to make contact with the Forger of Pain, where can they find you on Twitter?
Well, okay, in Twitter, it will be Karcamo507. I'm sure Steven's going to put how to spell it. I'm on Facebook as Karcamo Gaming. You can message me. You can message me, like private message me. I always try to respond. On YouTube, I'm also as Karcamo Gaming, and you can also find me if you want to like see all the Karcamo things together in one single site. There's Karcamo.com. Also, Karcamo.com has like exclusive content that you won't see on any other social media. For example, I'm doing the caricatures. Well, I don't do them. Like, I have an artist that every week there's this cartoon or sketch, if you will, of something that is trending right now. For example, last week we had like the Joker reaction. Actually, it was Macaulay Culkin, the Joker, and myself. We were playing charades. So if you want to check that out, you have to go to Karcamo.com.
Yeah. I don't know who your artist is, but they look really good.
Thanks, man.
So you can pass that along. But, he has a ton of content you should check out. Ulysses and I have been doing that recently, and we think you should, go look at what he has to offer. I want to thank you, Karcamo, for coming on the podcast today.
Yeah, thank you. I thank you, Stephen and Ulysses. Really, it was an honor. I hope that I can come back. Really, I had a lot of fun. Like I said, for every other subject we talked about today in this podcast, I could talk for hours. I could talk for hours about gaming, about survival horror, anime, horror movies, whatever you guys like. You can count me in.
Yeah, there's a lot that we didn't get to discuss, and maybe that just means you have to come back eventually. All right.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
All right. I want to thank you. I want to thank Ulysses for standing in as my co-host as always, and we will talk to you guys next time.
See you guys.